Last person.
Representing Katsina South. On behalf of this distinguished committee, I heartily welcome the Managing Director, Nigerian Education Loan, and his management team to this important interaction between the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institution and NELFUND and House of Representative Committee on Student Loan Scholarship and Higher Education Finance. This meeting is aimed at examining the merit and otherwise of the laudable initiative of the federal government loan scheme for Nigerian students. This decision underscores President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's dedication to provide timely and essential financial assistance to students in need, enabling them to pursue their educational goals without undue financial stress. The program has not only laid the groundwork for future initiatives to enhance educational opportunities and support students across various disciplines. This program is no doubt a laudable initiative. However, this joint committee is carrying out its mandate, required further clarification on the modalities that will be used in selecting the beneficiaries vis-a-vis ensuring that the eligible candidates are not denied access to this loan, as well as the quality of personnel you have put in place to drive this scheme. Please be assured of this joint committee support and the best wish of the Senate and the House as a whole. As you respond to these few remarks of mine, I thank you for coming and for the hard work you are all putting in place to better the lives of Nigerians. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Chair.
So thank you for having us here. Also, thank you for passing this extremely important piece of legislation, because as we can see, one of the greatest, and it's said very frequently that one of the greatest things about this nation is the human capacity that it has. But one of the things that has let the nation down so far is the poor level of education that the people in their vast numbers have. And I think there's been a recognition by this National Assembly and by the President that one of the best ways of impacting and increasing the potential of Nigeria to impact not only Nigerians but to impact the world is by increasing access to education. And it has been recognized quite properly that one of the things that is preventing that access, one of the several things, is the lack of finance or finances that people have to be able to achieve their full potential by attending institutions that can give them knowledge and that can certificate them. So what has happened? How are we where we are today, and what is the opportunity that this represents? So we know that many of the institutions in Nigeria today are suffering from students unable to complete their programs, access the institution, realize what they need to realize from the knowledge they get, spending too long in institutions, mainly because they don't have the money to have continuous learning. So this laudable program, as described by the chair and co-chair, is to bridge the gap for those people, many of whom are out there today, unable to fulfill their dream, even though they have got access to an institution in terms of their qualification to attend, but just don't have the 40, 50,000 naira, 60,000 naira to actually be able to show up, receive lectures, receive tutorials, engage in seminars, and attend examinations. So this program, and I don't need to spell out the law to you because you made the law, but this program properly recognizes the fact that it is for Nigerians. It also recognizes the fact that it is for Nigerians who wish to attend Nigerian institutions, so that we can sow the investment not just into the people, but into the institutions that our country, our nation has properly invested in. We, as the NELFUND, have been saddled with the responsibility to implement your wishes, your desires that you have passed into law. And we have put some programs in place, some processes in place to ensure that this program is spread evenly across the entire nation, because we believe that education should be for all. We all believe that education should be for all, because if you half educate a nation, you haven't helped that nation. All should be educated. So what are we doing? We are trying to identify the people at the bottom of the pyramid, the people who are struggling the most with finding money to attend institutions that they have been properly admitted to or they might be admitted to. And we have put it out there that if they are in that category, they should please approach the Nigeria Education Loan Fund for a loan, which is interest-free and has very soft terms for them, so that they are not saddled with the burden of high interest rates. This is a zero interest loan, even though you have given us the power to apply interest, but we have started the implementation with zero interest. And also a long moratorium for repayment. In other words, 2 years after NYSC is when they are required to start paying back the loan. And even at that requirement is based on them having a job. If they don't have a job that is paying them money, they can't pay back. So there is no criminalization of the individuals who want to take advantage of this opportunity. We started this by, and I mentioned this democratization of the opportunity. And what we have done is that we have created a platform that doesn't recognize whether you are connected or not connected. All you have to do with this platform in terms of connection is to be connected to the internet, not to somebody important somewhere. So once they approach that platform, it runs through a number of checks for them. So they provide their JAM number, they provide their NIN, they provide their BVN, because they have to be financially included, because the loan has to be paid back. And we also use it as a means of checking to make sure that it's not the rich that are accessing this loan. The NIN is for the confirmation that they are Nigerians, and the JAM is confirmation that they are going to a tertiary institution. I'm going to come to the skill side of this. This is purely the academic side I'm speaking to at the moment, which is where we've started. So they approach this platform online. And the way we have done it is that once they put in these pieces of information, the JAM number, the matriculation number if they're already in an institution, the admission number, the BVN, and their NIN, it allows them to create an account. Once they create that account, they have username, password, it becomes their account that they own. Going from there, they can apply for the loan. In order for them to be able to apply for the loan, there's an institution at the other end, you know, the federal, state institutions, colleges of education, polytechnics, and universities who have provided NELFUND with data on all the students they have or all the students they are about to receive. So the data the student puts in the first place that allows them to create the account must match with the data that the institution has provided us with, to make sure that it's the same individual that is being given the opportunity to access the loan. So we've been through this exercise. We've been doing a lot of data gathering. So the gathering side of the data is on the institution side, because the students will approach us with their own data when they come. But on the institution side, the institutions are providing us with the names, the full names, the JAM number, the matriculation number if they're already in the institution, and the admission number if they're about to join. Once that information is loaded, it means that those coming in can easily have it cross-checked. We have something called the SVS, the Student Verification System, which checks that the individual applying is truly a bona fide candidate of the institution they're applying to. Also on the institution side, there are the courses and the fees for those courses, because it's a loan. So if you're going to apply for a loan, you have to know how much loan you are taking. So the institutions are also providing us with information about the cost of the course that the individual, the student applicant, is applying for. As long as all that information is complete and accurate on the institution side, the student can approach, make an application, sign an agreement based on the terms and conditions, that some of which I described earlier, and then get approval for the loan. What happens next? Once they have the approval to apply, we obviously do an evaluation to check that there are no missing pieces, and then we issue some sort of loan approval to the individual, and the law requires us to do that in about 30 days. So there are three possible answers when people apply for the loan. One is yes, you have the loan. Two is no, you don't have the loan. And three is we need to do some checks, because if we find that there are things missing, we need to be able to do those checks to make sure that the taxpayer's money is safe. Once that is done, and the approvals have been given and we have confirmed that two things happen. One, we inform the individual that your loan has been granted. That loan is the institutional loan, which means that you can approach the institution and say, here is a letter, my loan has been granted. The other thing that happens is that we approach the institution and we tell the institution that we have given a loan to the following individuals at these rates. So at that point, there's money due to come from the NELFUND to the institution for a batch of students. And remember, there are many different institutions, so they are batched according to the institutions with different courses. There's a parallel amount of funding that's going through. That parallel amount of funding is for the students to apply for something that we are calling the upkeep loan. Because there is a recognition that if you open the doors of the classroom to a student, but they don't have money to eat, to be able to go and sit in class or be able to get to the class itself, it is pointless. So this House and the presidency in signing this law have approved, because you reenacted the law and approved this portion, which was missing from the first law, to allow students to actually draw on money that they can actually use to sustain themselves. We've all been students, we've all been broke. We know what it's like. It's perpetually being broke for your entire time at the institution. So we're trying to cushion it like that. So there are two loans potentially available for every student. One is the loan for the institution, their fees, and the second is the loan that puts money into their pockets. And we are going to do this on a monthly basis. So this is how it's working so far. We launched the portal on the 25th of May at midnight. And we didn't make too much noise about it because, you know, with these systems, you also have to check that they are working properly. They cannot easily be hacked. Because it's about money, there are lots of interested parties in India, in China, in Nigeria, all over the place that want to just test and see whether this thing is breakable or not. So we launched on a low note to see, you know, how much interest there is, so that again we can gauge what the interest is without too much fanfare, no billboards, no jingles, no television adverts, just so that we can see how the system is running. And we've been doing that since the 25th of May till date. We had our first board meeting. The board is made up, and I don't want to run through all the members, but I can tell you it's mainly made up of educational or education-related institutions, the Federal Ministry of Education. Of course, finance is part of this, so the Ministry of Finance are also part of this. The Inland Revenue, Federal Inland Revenue are the ones providing the funding, 1% of federation taxes. We have the NUC, the NBTE, the NCCE, the Youth Corps, Youth Service. We're doing verification through NIMSI, so they are there. NIN, I mentioned JAMB earlier. JAMB is also properly represented. There's a student representative on there as well. So this is the general composition of the board, and it's chaired by Mr. Jim Ovia, who the president appointed to be the chairman and the person to steer it. So we had our first board meeting last Wednesday. Before that board meeting, it was difficult also for us to begin to spend and to make spending decisions because we report to the board. And so we are now in a position where we can begin to actually make some noise. But just to give you a status report, I believe that we have about 176,000 applications so far, and in terms of, registrations so far, and in terms of applications, we have 76,000 applications. I'm just going to draw a very quick distinction for you between registrations and applications. Registrations are people who come to the site and set up an account. They don't always go on to apply. Applications are those who go all the way and confirm that they're at an institution and then are able to click a button to say, I apply for this loan. There's a gap there. The gap between the registrations and applications sometimes is because the data is wrong. Maybe they entered the wrong...
Point of order, please. You have